This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 11 arrested during police military operation in St. Thomas. 11 men were taken into custody during a police military operation in Yala, St. Thomas on Wednesday morning. The security forces were searching for wanted men and illegal firearms. Deputy Superintendent O'Neill Thompson, operations officer for the St. Thomas Police Division, said the detainees are being processed. The main players we're looking for, none of those were seen this morning. However, I know that the citizenry of this area are reassured by our presence and our activities that we carried out in the Yala space this morning, he said, adding that the operations will continue. So we're saying to the persons who are the bad guys that anywhere you are, we're coming there, he warned. Concern voiced over tracking of children after time with DCS. Parliamentarians have expressed a concern there is no tracking of the progress of children who leave the care of the Department of Correctional Services. The department appeared before the Human Resources and the Social Development Committee of Parliament yesterday. Committee member Dr. Maurice Guy suggested the department and the National Security Minister should start monitoring the outcomes of juveniles released from correctional facilities. It could be something that is very effective in trying to look at the root causes of the expansion of crime in the country. It is something that is probably worth exploring. Have we done any data collection to see what is happening to those persons who have left, if they have become integrated in the formal criminal activity, or if they have been reintegrated in the formal non-criminal activity to be productive citizens in this country? The DCS has said in its report to the committee that reintegration has been a huge challenge. It says in some cases the family is unwilling to receive the child in the household, and this often leads to them reoffending. The DCS further states that there is no established pathway for returning children under 18 years to the public school system. It explains that most of the children admitted to the DCS in 2021 were suspended or expelled from school or stopped attending classes. Councillor urges government protection from high electrical inspection fees. Councillor for the Little London Division in Westmoreland, Ian Miles, has said builders and the potential homeowners are being forced to pay excessive fees, upwards of $700,000, to have their properties inspected and passed by private and licensed electrical inspectors. Last November, the government transitioned to a new system where licensed electricians and private inspectors are now responsible for certification. Under the new system, licensed electricians are free to set their own fees, where previously there was no cost for inspection. A man building a little house can't afford to pay the fees that are associated with the corporation, and now he is going to have to pay over $700,000 to these private contractors to get his house passed, Miles said at a recent meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation. Under the law, premises must be inspected and certified by the government before the Jamaica Public Service connections can be installed. However, Miles noted that the inspection and the certification of electrical systems in private and commercial properties have increased by approximately 500%. Therefore, he is urging the government to re-examine its decision to provide protection with the high fees from the free market pricing system that has come about as a result of its policy decision. He argued that the sharp increase associated with the new inspection and certification fees are a deterrent to persons who want to legally connect to the JPS grid. Government needs to use its stake in JPS to ensure that the citizens are protected, because I am seeing a significant loss of revenue to the municipal corporation, not just to Westmoreland. All the municipal corporations will be crying out for revenue, Miles said. Persons entering into construction are required to develop building plans to be passed by local municipal corporations. Along with that, they are also required to have a separate plan for electrical installations. Where will citizens get money to legitimize their buildings, more so to find these high fees? The electrical plan in itself will need a separate drawing, the Little London councillor lamented. Entertainment promoters lobbying for resumption of events. Entertainment promoters have intensified lobbying for a full-scale resumption of events with adequate controls in place. Two promoters are anticipating favorable news from the government and have gone ahead with plans for entertainment events later this year. The discussion has been increasing since the government started relaxing measures imposed under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Earlier this week, a local government minister, Desmond Mackenzie, said an announcement will be made on the entertainment sector. Chairman of Dream Entertainment, Kamal Banke, believes that reopening plans can work if COVID-19 testing is significantly increased. Vaccination, which I fully support, helps people to protect themselves. From the standpoint, if you are having an event as a promoter, you can decide if you want to include unvaccinated people or not. In Jamaica, larger festivals such as Sumfest, if COVID is still a factor, testing is the front line. So that's also a critical thing to remember when we are talking about vaccinated events, vaccinated sections, and so on and so forth, he said. And the managing director of I Love Soca Jamaica, Andrew Bellamy, argues that with the increase in vaccination rates, plans for the reopening of the entertainment sector can be made after consultations. I mean, approximately 645,000 people have been vaccinated, and I think they deserve to experience whatever type of events or incentives that the government is prepared to give them. We have been neglected for 2 years except for summer, when a small window was granted, said Bellamy. Elderly man appeals for increase in pension benefits. 82-year-old National Insurance Scheme pensioner Aaron McFarlane of Pointe Settlement in the parish is calling on the government for a speedy increase to the monthly remittance to NIS pensioners. He claimed that while he was employed in the public sector in 1975, he suffered an injury from which he has not fully recovered. I would like the government to increase the pension or give me something else on the side to live, because of them government work mash me up, pleaded McFarlane. Right now me a struggle. From me born me never hungry, and it look like me about to be hungry now because me have the food but me can't eat it. Me no want it, expressed the senior citizen who is in need of urgent dental attention. Except for the monthly NIS pension of $7,434, McFarlane is not the beneficiary of any other form of state benefit. For 1 month you gain $7,400. 1 whole month in this time, every week correctional raise, and I hit me a depend on Me I wonder why them do it like that, McFarlane questioned. Me work in the yard at Hope Gardens, and from me left Hope Gardens, me have been working with the government straight through. Me go at 20 North Street and join credit union, and me no get nothing out there. Housing trust, me no get nothing. The little meager one where me I get a the pension, stated McFarlane. The senior citizen claims that in 1975, he was injured while on the job at a state-owned facility in Kingston after the steps to the veranda section of a building gave way. He said he fell on lumber, which injured the left side of his abdomen and his scrotum. As a result of his injuries, McFarlane, who says that he has been in constant pain since the accident, has not been able to hold a steady job. He told the news that the following morning after his mishap, he learned that a good friend of his was also injured at the derelict building. McFarlane says he is now being affected by the injuries he received on the job back then, which make it difficult for him to move around. He is currently being assisted by a great-granddaughter, Tiny, who ensures he eats, washes his clothes, and takes him to the hospital. Despite the senior citizen's challenges, he remains undaunted and strongly believes in the local saying, "Who God bless, no man curse." "Me nah give up, me a cry, but me nah give up," expressed McFarlane. One of the first jobs for McFarlane, who started to work at the age of 14, was to cut sugar cane. He later traveled with his boss to the cockpit country in Trelawney, after which he ended up in Portland, where he worked in both the private and the public sectors. McFarlane returned to his Hanover home in 1985 and lived with his brother, who later died. Since then, the senior citizen moved to the plot of land on which he was born and lived as a child. McFarlane has 2 children. However, he is not sure where his daughter is, while his son has not been in touch with him since he was 15. McFarlane was identified by the National Housing Trust Social Development Unit, which had been conducting a survey of the area that is currently under consideration for housing development. The aim of the team was to target seniors, pensioners, the indigent, as well as mentally and physically challenged individuals, using the various provisions of the government in order to create housing solutions of some sort. People's National Party's councillor for the Sandy Bay Division, Andrea Dehani Grant, who is also the deputy mayor of Lucy, provided McFarlane with a food package and a monetary contribution to assist with his transportation to clinic. She said she wasn't previously aware of McFarlane's condition, but promised to keep in touch with his great-granddaughter. I was really moved based on his present condition, and as a counselor, I will be making an effort to make representations to ensure that he gets a better living condition and to see how best I can help him. He made a mention of his illness and the assistance that he actually needs, Dehani Grant told the news. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.